291 and 292. We're catching up on yesterday for Sefer HaMitzvos. And so for yesterday, I told you we were going to be talking more about workers who are, what they're allowed to eat while they're working. So negative commandment 267 says, "You shall not wave a sickle to your neighbor's standing grain." That comes from Deuteronomy 23:26. And so basically what this means is that it's forbidden for a worker to eat of produce that he's working on if it doesn't meet two criteria. And those two criteria are, if he's working on the produce that is still attached to the ground, he may only eat from it after he has finished his work with that produce, meaning once he's filled a basket with grapes that he's harvesting, he may eat the grapes in the basket. And two, if he is working with already harvested produce, he may eat of the produce as long as he hasn't completely finished his work of the produce. So it has to meet those two criteria, and it's also forbidden for him to take a break in order to eat from the produce. Rather, he must eat as he works. So that is the first commandment. The next one is negative commandment 268. And this comes from Deuteronomy 23:25, which says, "You may eat your fill of grapes at your desire, but you shall not put in your container." So though a worker can eat from the produce on which he's working, he may not take more than he eats while working. So he doesn't get to bring a whole bunch home for eating later at home. All right, now moving on to day 292, that's today. And we're covering negative mitzvah 219 first, which comes from Deuteronomy 25, verse 4. It says, "You shall not muzzle the ox while it is threshing." So it's forbidden to prevent any animal, not just an ox, from eating from the produce upon which it's working. So for instance, if it's threshing out grain or carrying a bundle of hay, it's forbidden to prevent it. You're not even allowed to yell at the animal in order to prevent it if it's wanting to eat. So an animal that you are working in a field, etc., is allowed to eat from what it's working. And last mitzvah for the day, we're doing this kind of quick because it's a little late, but this comes from Exodus 22:13. It's positive commandment 244. It says, "And if a man borrows from his neighbor," This is another one of those ones where it's kind of an overarching mitzvah. It's a mitzvah regarding the rules of borrowing. So if you borrow something, are you liable? If something happens to it, etc. So this is basically the requirement to follow the rules regarding borrowing. And the full verse says, "And if a person borrows an animal from his neighbor and it breaks a limb or it dies, if its owner is not with him, he shall surely pay." So if you borrow an animal and you take that animal out, and let's say you take it and it falls because you didn't work out that you were going to be taking it along a cliff or something like that, or if it overheats because you're taking it through the desert, whereas the owner wanted you to take it through the mountains, whatever. These kinds of things, you would be liable to have to pay back the owner of the item or the animal that was borrowed. All right, thank you so much for joining me. With God's help, we'll be back tomorrow And tomorrow, give you a little preview, we're doing one mitzvah, and it is again the mitzvah regarding borrowing. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Have a great night. And happy